It has been a while since we sat down and chatted, but welcome to this episode of the Nourish Her podcast, Time for Therapy. I have decided to film a video version today, so if you can watch this on YouTube. I think I can upload it on Spotify. I'm not really sure. I will figure that out, but I really wanted to give myself a boost of confidence with this podcast, and if I'm going to continually do it over the year and try to make it grow, I need to upgrade my systems. I need to upgrade it all, and so we are in my office today on this comfy couch recording the video version. Anyway, let's get into it today. So if you're new here, I'm Brooke Matheson. I am a nutritional therapist, counsellor, and a personal trainer. If you are new here, I have been a personal trainer for the past 5 years, online for the past 3, and most recently I am about to graduate my counselling diploma, which is really exciting because it means that I can really help you guys through therapy strategies, and not only from a degree in sport, recreation and exercise. I can really help you from a psychological standpoint, and that is exactly why I'm so excited, because if you didn't know, when I was in high school I wanted to be a psychologist, but I ended up going to uni for sport, and here we are being a personal trainer. So it's a bit of a full circle moment for me. So that's why I decided to start this podcast, because I really wanted to get into a little bit of therapy with you guys and explain things from a psychological standpoint in a podcast rather than just a fitness standpoint. Alrighty, so let's take a deep breath. It's so weird recording myself. In today's episode, it is a big one, and I'm not going to lie, it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable at times, okay? Because this is a conversation I have been craving. However, it can be controversial, especially in the health and fitness industry, where demonizing weight loss is a thing. And if you look on my Instagram, I demonize weight loss all the time, but that is because I'm coming from a standpoint of body dissatisfaction and people with distorted eating behaviours and body dysmorphia that actually don't need to lose weight. So weight loss isn't something that they need to be concerned about. They need to start listening to their body instead. However, with this podcast today, I want to speak to the fact that you can lose weight. That can be a goal of yours, and that's completely fine. You can be uncomfortable in your body. You can be unconfident or confident. You can have body dysmorphia, body dissatisfaction. So these are all the things I want to speak on today. But I am going to have a controversial answer where, is it okay to have a goal of weight loss? And can weight loss actually make you happier? And my answer is both yes and no. I believe that there is evidence towards both. So let's go through that. I believe, yes, it can help you gain confidence if you lose weight, because I have been there. So when I lost my period and I had to gain my weight back, I had to gain my body fat back, there was a part of me that was so resistant to gaining weight because I was so confident in my body. I was the most confident and comfortable that I had ever been in my body. I was at a really great body fat that at the time I thought was healthy, which obviously it wasn't for my body composition, because I had lost my period and hadn't had it for 2 years, and my body was absolutely not thriving. But the thought of gaining weight was absolutely terrifying for me. So I ended up gaining around about 10 kgs when this all came about, and it was over about maybe like a 6-month span where I gained about 10 kgs. So it wasn't slow, but it also wasn't fast. I could see my body changing week in, week out, and I was gaining more and more weight, and I was confident. I absolutely was. There was never a day that went by that I wasn't really confident in my body. I was working subcontracted as a PT at the time, so I had to show up all the time online in my body. I started working with Riderwear, so I had to show up all the time in this activewear for Riderwear on Instagram. So there wasn't a day that goes by that I wasn't confident, because I was, but I was so uncomfortable. I felt so bloated all the time. I felt like nothing was fitting. I felt puffy. I felt sluggish. I felt slow. And honestly, I kind of was, because I had gained a lot of body fat that necessarily I didn't need physically, but I needed for my hormonal health. I needed for my internal health, but I didn't really need it for any other aspect. Like, I didn't want to gain weight, right? I had to gain weight. It was more from a health perspective. And so when I gained that weight, I felt uncomfortable, but I was still confident. So there is a total difference between those two, and I totally think people get them confused because you can gain confidence. Confidence is something that you can teach yourself. However, feeling comfortable in your body really just comes down to how you're feeling internally, externally, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And yes, you can teach yourself and help yourself with some of those elements, but I truly believe that there's going to become a point where you're either uncomfortable or comfortable with the skin and the body that you are in. And again, this is such a controversial topic because I am so about body positivity and body inclusivity. Is that how you say it? But truly, I was uncomfortable in my body. So when I was feeling disconnected from my body and I finally gained my period back, I honestly had to hold on to this extra 10 kgs that I had gained for a couple of years. And I slowly have lost the weight now where I'm really comfortable. I think I've only lost about 5 kgs of it, but I'm so comfortable and confident in where I currently am with my body composition, how I'm feeling physically and mentally, that losing those 5 kgs was absolutely a game changer for me. If I had continued to keep that excess 10 kgs on, I know that I would still feel uncomfortable to this day. And so for me, losing 5 kgs out of those 10 has kept my health in check, but also has kept me feeling comfortable in my own skin and in my own body. And again, this is why I think it's so important to feel comfortable in your own skin. And it's okay if you want to lose weight. It's okay if that is your goal, but let's just make sure that the weight loss is coming from a standpoint that we actually need to lose weight. And it's not coming from a standpoint of we are already like 50 something kgs and we want to lose weight. There's a difference between wanting and needing to lose weight, and there's a difference between healthy weight loss and restrictive weight loss. There is huge discrepancies between the two. So let's just make that very clear. It's okay to have a weight loss goal. However, the way we go about that weight loss goal needs to be correct, and it needs to be from a standpoint of loving yourself first, right? And so my self-worth never changed, no matter what weight I was. However, losing those 5 kgs made me comfortable in my own skin again. And it's because I was honoring myself. I was also improving all of my healthy habits external to my weight loss as well. I was sleeping better. I was tracking my calories. I was making sure I was hitting my protein. I was doing all of these healthy habits, which was then going to set me up for success once I had lost that weight as well. I was choosing better foods. I was feeling nourished. I was moving my body in a way that felt good for me. I wasn't training twice a day anymore. I was training like 4 times a week, but really intentional, really hard sessions, and I could see my body composition changing, and I just felt so comfortable. So I wouldn't say weight loss as a whole is the way to happiness. However, it can make you feel comfortable, and as a byproduct of doing healthy habits that are going to benefit you, again, sometimes a byproduct of that can be minimal weight loss, and that can make you feel comfortable in yourself again too. So to wrap this section of the podcast up, essentially, I was confident, I had self-worth the whole time, no matter what the weight said on the scales. However, I was not comfortable in my body. So I lost 5 kgs and now I feel the most comfortable I've ever felt in my body. So honestly, losing those 5 kgs, yes, it made me feel more comfortable. Yes, it probably made me feel a little bit more confident, right? I probably show up different on Instagram now than I did a year ago when I had an extra 5 kgs. However, I was still confident with the extra 5 kgs as well. But I truly believe that if we're looking at a weight loss goal from a standpoint of feeling comfortable and a way of caring for your body, not controlling your body, yes, it can make you happier. So that is one part of this answer. The yes part. However, I also want to say no, because I've also been on the other end of the spectrum where losing more and more weight has made me the most unhappiest person I've ever been, the most restrictive person I've ever been, the most unfriendly person I've ever been, the most uncaring person I've ever been. Honestly, every single thing that I ever think back to, the person I was when I think back to, it's really sad because I didn't know how big of a trench I was digging myself. Honestly, I was a shell of a human. I shrunk myself to a size that I thought would be lovable, that I thought would be the best for my body composition. I chased a percentage of body fat that was unrealistic for a female. I dropped well below 15% body fat, and I every day would stand on the scales, and if my body weight hadn't gone down, I would try to fix it the next day. So I would either reduce my calories more, do more cardio, I would, skip meals. I would do anything and everything, like drink long blacks 3 times a day to stop my appetite and to make sure that I wasn't gaining excess calories through my liquids. Like all of these things, it's not normal to be doing, but it becomes so normalized in the health and fitness industry because this is the way that we lose weight. And this is the way that we've been taught to lose weight. And yes, it could be ideal. And that yes, this is going to help you lose weight. But when it comes to a standpoint that you're doing it every day and the weight on the scales is then dictating how you feel about yourself and what you do in your days, that's when we have a problem. And so I was really anxious, I was excessive, I was restrictive, I was hypercritical of myself, and I was just in this constant pressure and constant fear, anxious state that I had to stay small. I had to stay small, otherwise my friends wouldn't love me, my family wouldn't love me, I would be disowned. And the funny thing is, I think to this all the time, is that when I went through that stage, I was so unlovable. Not even my friends wanted to be around me, right? And it's laughable because I thought I would be lovable at that state. I thought I would find my boyfriend in that state, but I found my boyfriend and I found my friends when I was lovable because I wasn't restrictive or obsessive about my exercise. I wasn't restrictive or obsessive about the food I was eating, right? So it was the complete opposite answer. So my happiness didn't come from the weight on the scales when I lost 10 kgs when I moved to Australia. My happiness finally came when I ripped that band-aid off, I gained all the weight and then lost a tiny bit of it again. My happiness came when I was in control of how I emotionally, mentally felt, not from a standpoint of food, from a standpoint of being able to regulate my nervous system and my emotions without doing it with food, without having the need or control to do it externally. I can do it internally. And so again, this is where, okay, I've said yes, losing weight can make you happy, but I also think no, not doing the weight loss journey can also make you happy because you can teach yourself to have confidence. You can teach yourself to be happy without the weight loss. But equally at the same time, if you are so uncomfortable in your body that you are in, let's do something about it. We can lose a couple of kgs to make you feel more confident and capable and comfortable in your body. So to summarize all of that completely, the first part I said was, yes, I think you can become happier if you lose weight from a standpoint of caring for yourself, not controlling for yourself. And part B is that no, I think weight loss can actually make you unhappier rather than happier if it is coming from a standpoint of control and coming from a standpoint of restriction, binging, guilt, shame. Okay? Two completely different sides to the story. And I actually hate it when people ask me questions. I went on a podcast the other day and I never know how to answer a question correctly because there's always two sides to the story when it comes to health and fitness. There is always two sides to the story. And so explaining one answer never does the answer justice because there are 100 different answers that I could also give you. And so this is why I ramble so much and why I want to do this podcast, because I want to show you every side to the story. I want to show you that there are so many different routes that you can take with your health and fitness journey, and every single path is going to be different for every single person, and it's really important to remember that. Now, I want to get on to another topic within this podcast today, which is body dysmorphia versus body dissatisfaction. Now, these are two completely different things. Now, I think that I have experienced both. I've had dissatisfaction in my body when I wasn't comfortable in my body. My clothes just weren't fitting properly. I was just feeling inflamed. But I've also had teasers of body dysmorphia where when I was losing an excess amount of weight and really decreasing my body fat percentage, the person I saw in the mirror was like 5-10 kgs heavier than what I actually realistically was. And so this is the main difference between the two, right? Body dissatisfaction is a lot more common because it's when you just feel like about yourself. Your jeans don't fit properly. You don't distort how your body looks though. You just know that you're feeling inflamed, you're feeling puffy, you're feeling uncomfortable, your clothes aren't fitting properly. But the way that you look at yourself in the mirror is exactly the representation of how your body actually looks. However, body dysmorphia is an actual mental health condition where the perception of your body is distorted. So the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, you see a different reflection staring back at you. You see a 5 kg heavier, a 10 kg heavier version of you staring back at you in the mirror, right? So this is your distorted body image and it isn't accurate. It is not accurate. So you might start to like hyperfixate on certain things about your body. I know that I used to hyperfixate on my arms and now I love my arms. Same with my lower stomach. I now love my stomach. Same with my inner thighs. Like these things are things that I used to hyperfixate on and try to shrink the most. And so there's a little bit of research about this. So in a 2020 study in the Journal of Eating Disorders found that symptoms of body dysmorphia are not correlated to body size or weight. Anyone can actually have body dysmorphia, but they're highly correlated to anxiety, perfectionism, and social comparison. Now, social comparison is really, really interesting. I'm going to get onto that a little bit later in this podcast, because this is where we really fall into the habits of body dissatisfaction and body dysmorphia, because we're constantly comparing ourselves to images online as to how we should look and what weight we should be at. Now, when we're looking at body dysmorphia or body dissatisfaction, I told you they're two separate things, but there can be common occurrences as to when this is coming up for you. So I have just dot pointed a few common driven behaviors that you should be looking out for if you feel like you do have dissatisfaction or dysmorphia within your body. So number one is checking your body in mirrors or windows multiple times a day. I know that I used to do this consistently. The first thing I would do when I wake up was weigh myself, look at myself in the mirror and figure out, how do I look today? I didn't want to know how I felt. That's what we should be doing when we wake up. We should wake up naturally and figure out, okay, well, how do I feel today? But no, I was going off how I looked. Then I would get to work, and obviously as a PT, there are mirrors everywhere. It is so hard to not body check yourself because there is mirrors everywhere. Like, there's a mirror right here. And you know, even sitting in my office, I'm staring in a mirror all day, every day. My bedroom has mirrors, the bathroom has mirrors. And so I actually got to the point where I would cover all of my mirrors in my bedroom with like a towel, or I'd get out the shower and I wouldn't face the mirror, so I could stop body checking myself and decrease the amount that I was putting my worth into how I looked. Decrease the amount of how I dictated my days around the way that I looked. I needed to stop body checking and checking mirrors and windows. So that's number one. Number two is comparing yourself obsessively to old photos or influencers. And this is really common, right? There's so many before and after photos throughout the whole of Instagram, or just even you do them for yourself, right? You compare yourself week in, week out. But the thing is, health and fitness journeys in your body, it's not a project. You are not a project. You are not a before and after photo project. You are a human being that is just living a normal life, and before and after could be anything from mental awareness to emotional, awareness to, emotional intelligence. It doesn't have to be a before and after to do with your body weight, your body fat. It could be muscle gain. It could be glute growing. It could be exactly like mental, emotional, physical, spiritual growth, whatever it might be. So we don't need to compare ourselves to old photos just for weight purposes. Could be for any type of purpose. And influencers, I could go on this 1,000 times a day, but influencers are almost the worst when it comes to restrictive behaviors and driving behaviors that are unhealthy online. And it is really sad because so many influencers have the physique they have. So many of them, yes, they have worked to where they are today, but a lot of them have also gone on restrictive diets to get themselves to where they are today, or are selling products and promoting things that aren't going to help you lose weight. And they know that, but they're getting paid thousands of dollars for a company to promote this certain product to you. So of course they're going to do it, right? So it's really important when we're looking on social media not to compare yourself to an influencer, to actually take information from influencers that you trust and would sell your goddamn kidney to. Okay. Thirdly is changing outfits multiple times the house before leaving. So this is an interesting one. I would say that before you go to bed, pick out an outfit that you would love to wear the next day and wear it regardless of how you feel waking up the next day. This is really going to help you gain confidence, because if you wear something based off how you feel, again, you're dictating your day on how you look. You're not dictating your day on how you feel. So I would pick out an outfit the night before, wear it regardless, and activewear is so common and hard because these ones that are tighter around the waist, tighter around your thighs, ones you wear on running day or upper body day, lower body day, whatever it might be. And we all have those kind of rules within our brain. And like, I'm wearing flares today because I'm probably going to go train upper body. Like, I would never wear leggings on lower body day because I would get too hot, right? But pick out an outfit the night before and wear it regardless of how you look the next day, because you wanted to wear it. You knew you'd feel confident in it the night before. So why don't you feel confident in it this morning? Then number 4 is avoiding events because you don't like how you look today. This was a big one for me in terms of friendships and going out drinking, and I didn't want to gain weight, so I actually stopped going to hundreds. I'm not that popular, come on, but multiple social events, because I didn't want to gain weight from drinking a couple of cocktails or having a couple of beers and then I wouldn't be able to train the next day. I was that obsessed with going to the gym and living a healthy lifestyle that I didn't give myself any freedom in terms of social activities. And so it's really important that when we are healing our relationship with food or our body or dissatisfaction or dysmorphia, that we need to look at social events from a standpoint of enjoying ourselves and having fun. Do we want to go to the social event to interact with our friends and family, or do we want to go to it because we want to look good and feel good? Do we want to be praised for our body? We shouldn't be wanting to go to a social event due to how we do or don't look. We should be wanting to go to a social event because we have been invited and it's something that we would like to show up to that person for. So here's how we can actually start reducing all of the above of what I've just spoken to, right? Number one is the awareness of things. So notice when you're body checking and what emotion triggered it. As soon as you wake up, why do we body check? When you get home from work, why do you body check? Why do you body check as soon as you've had a meal? Why do we weigh ourselves every single morning? Having awareness to all of these things, you can really start to question yourself and understand, okay, something needs to change here. Number two is try to delay. Once you have the awareness around things, this is when we can change it and fix it, right? Try to delay what you want to do. As soon as you wake up in the morning, if you're running straight to the mirror, how can we delay for 2 minutes to ask yourself, what do I actually need today and how do I actually feel waking up this morning? Number three is then how can we disrupt this pattern? So once we have been aware of it, once we have delayed what we want to do, how can we now go behave in a way that's actually going to support how we feel or how we want to show up for ourselves in a healthy habit, in a healthy behavior? Instead of running to the mirror, this is what I planned out to wear today. I'm going to wear it regardless of how I look in the mirror today. I'm actually not going to check the mirror this morning. I'm going to cover it up with a towel or a sheet. I'm going to put my clothes on, eat breakfast, and I'm going to go to work. I'm not going to sit and think about it. Then number four is to challenge yourself, right? Really challenge yourself. Ask yourself, if my body stayed the same forever, what else would I want to feel proud of? Your body is the most important thing about you. Okay? No one is concerned about your body. Even though we feel like it is the most important thing about us and it's the biggest topic of conversation that everyone else is speaking about, I promise you, it is not. What else can you go do today that you are going to be proud of yourself for? Can you go for a promotion at work? Can you go for a 5K run for the first time? Can you go lift in a 100 kg deadlift? Can you go squat 1.5 times your body weight? These are things that we can start to challenge ourselves on that have nothing to do with our body. Well, obviously physical movement is to do with your body, but it has nothing to do with the weight, right? Your weight on the scales. So this is kind of a step-by-step process that I would go through with my clients. I have 100 different cognitive behavioral therapy ones or acceptance commitment therapy, basic strategies and tools that we go through, but this is one that you can use. Bring the awareness to what you are doing, delay what you want to do, disrupt what you want to do, and challenge yourself in a way that isn't about your body. For the last topic of conversation in today's episode is just a little bit on why we really try to hate our body smaller. And unfortunately, we have been conditioned to believe that we are going to be more lovable or have a higher self-worth or feel more confident in our bodies if we lose weight. And I spoke to this before in terms of influencers promoting a lot on social media, but at the end of the day as well, the health and fitness industry is like a multi-million, if not $1 billion industry that wants you to fail in your health and fitness journey so they can promote something else and make more money off you. And so hence why there are so many 8-week challenges out there. There are so many products out there. There are so many different diets out there for you to try because they want you to try one. They want you to fail. They want you to retry another, fail, try, fail, try, fail. And it's this constant cycle, which then is why we end up in this cycle of restrict and binge and distorted eating patterns because we don't understand what is actually going to work for us and how we can help ourselves. And also on top of this as well is that when we compare ourselves to others, we reinforce the idea and the belief within our brains that our body is the most important thing about us, like I was saying before. And so when we arrive in our smaller body, we still think that we could be smaller again and we still aren't happy within ourselves because we're still comparing ourselves to others. But when is it going to be enough for you just to lose a bit of weight and feel confident in yourself? That doesn't come from comparison. That comes from healing your relationship with yourself, with your self-trust, with your confidence. with your body image, right? And that doesn't heal from weight loss, that heals from you doing the work internally. And it's not about loving every inch of yourself. Look, there's still days that some days I wake up and I go to my partner, oh, I just don't feel that great today, right? There's still parts of me that fall back into that narrative, but it's about not letting shame run the show. It's about not letting guilt run the show. It's about showing up for yourself every single day in a way that is going to benefit you from a healthy and care standpoint, not control. And that is the internal work that you need to do, and we all need to do, right? So as an outro, I just want to say, if this hit home, you are not broken. You are on a healing journey that is going to be far from perfect, but there is no perfectionism in healing. There's no perfectionism in body image. There's no perfectionism in anything to do with a health and fitness journey. It is a long, rocky healing journey, but that's what I'm here for. That's what the Nourish Her community is here for, and the Time for Therapy podcast is here for. And if you want support that meets you where you're currently at with your messy life or your messy mindset of how you're feeling with food or your relationship with your body, just know you are not alone in that. There are so many female that will be going through exactly what you are going through in terms of your mindset, and that it's never embarrassing to ask for help. Right? If you feel like you don't want to reach out for help or support because you're afraid of what someone else is going to judge you for, personally, myself, I'm never going to judge you for where you're currently at in your health and fitness journey, because I can tell you I have heard it 1,000 times before. The binge eating, the restricting, the overeating, the calorie counting, the calculations, the body dysmorphia, the body dissatisfaction, the body image, everything. I have heard it all. And that's why I do exactly what I do. So please don't ever be afraid to reach out. But you can find coaching details, therapy details in the caption below, because you're allowed to find peace within your body image, within your mindset. You just need to be willing to do the internal work instead of the external validation work. And again, that's what I do. So thanks for being here. I really hope that this episode just opened your eyes a little bit in terms of, will weight loss make you happy? Is it coming from a point of care and control? And I will see you in the next episode. Don't forget to share this episode if you loved it, and please leave a rating as well. I am really excited to continue with this podcast and just open up your girls' mindsets a little bit more day by day. But so much love. You are so worthy of everything. You deserve everything, and you are so beautiful. I will talk to you next episode. So much love. Bye.